You take the stranger's offer, eager to lose touch with harsh reality, and for a chance to recall everything that could lead to your mother's whereabouts. Shortly after drifting away from consciousness, you find yourself being enveloped by a miasma of repressed memories. A stranger's recent inquiries reminding you of growing up in the Sacred Heart Orphanage. Auntie Emma's warm embrace suddenly morphs into chilly restraints and remembrance of dooryard scuffles with bellicose orphans resurface. It's as if life's refusing to allow you to seek refuge from tangible hardships, no matter how potent your drug of choice for escapism is. This place is surely a dream, but it's all too familiar. You must find out what the stranger is seeking in your memories. I can't access my inventory here. Some journals. Where are these tarot things? High Priestess, Chariot, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, cool. Got cards. Sister Heloise. Courtyard is nothing but hard-packed sand and scruffy grass. Heloise watches over the children at play. By this time you were big enough to give as good as you got, and the ones who wouldn't fight you insulted you with abandon. As the others adapted, I became more isolated. I often thought of running away. Atticus, you'll be 12 years old in a week's time. There's something I need to tell you. What's the difference? I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. Now, Atticus, let's hear what she has to say. It's about your mother. I should have told you sooner, but I didn't know how. Sorry, Atticus, I wish I could have been more brave. At least you're telling me now before I quit this place. The day you arrived, there was a ring wrapped up in your blankets. You're old enough to have it now. And your mother left this too. Eloise hands me an old piece of parchment. A note from my mother. Do you make out what it says? No, there's no message. I can't produce the memory. The truth will come in time. I'm sorry I kept this from you for so long. Did she ever come back for me? She came back half a year later and insisted you were her child. She mentioned the note and knew the date we found you on the steps. But why didn't I go with her? Hush, Eloise is coming to that. As your mother signed in at the registry, a horse and buggy drew up outside and there was a terrible shout. Someone bowled over the sister at the door. When this fellow burst in, your mother went stiff as a corpse. Could it have been my father? I don't know who he was, but he struck panic in my heart. There was malice in his every step. Twitching, insidious man. He took your mother and she never returned. I forgot about this day for a good reason. Perhaps you were too young to hear the tale. Hearing this from Heloise heartened me at the time, but still didn't change the fact that I couldn't stand the Sacred Heart. After I fled the orphanage, I did search for my mother, till I decided there was nothing I could do. Perhaps not then, but this is now. It's true, I'm a grown-ass moose. The open arms of the angel were purely symbolic. I never had a home in this dreadful place. I had to grow a thick skin in my younger years, even if it made me more socially impenetrable. Ooh, super blurry over here. Oh, it's Sister Heloise again. I've seen you recover from your latest round of fisticuffs. Anything to say for yourself? Sometimes I like to go blind for a few minutes. When I woke up, I'm crying and cut up. And everyone's staring at me and laughing. Level 20 self-discipline. You poor child, you've suffered long enough. It's time you learned what your bloodline is capable of. Must be another ploy to get me to stay. I'll be 13 in a few months, and then I'm running off for good. Being singled out as a minotaur and always having insults thrown at you, it's terrible. The bright spot is that you have a gift of magic. You can develop your talents if you study the tarot. She fans out the colorful cards. They seem to buzz with an eerie electricity. Look closely at this card. The Magician. A symbol of new beginnings. One arm to the heavens and the other down to earth. He's a conduit between the spiritual and material realms. The Magician transmutes potential energy from its ethereal state into perceptible forms. Can't say I buy it, but I'm listening. That's a spirit. Minotaurs are magical creatures, and like this magician, you are a conduit. I committed the spell to memory long ago. I'll share it with you, but only with your promise of wholehearted trust. Okay, Heloise. I know you wouldn't lead me astray. I trust you. And I trust you, Atticus, because if my superiors should learn of this, I'd never wear the habit again. Now, this is a cantrip. You must speak it over and over until it is written across your mind in bold letters. Her voice drops into a strange low whisper. Sight from fire, hearing from aether, smell it from the air, taste from the water, touch down to earth in another form. Aristotle defined 5 senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing, corresponding to the elements of fire, air, water, earth, and aether. I think I understand, except for the bit about aether. Aether is the energy propelling each heartbeat, the same material in the soul and the consciousness of all blooded creatures. Those with proper training can channel the aether into the earthly sphere. Therein lies the power of the cantrip, the ability to transmute energy into matter. Aether is tied to hearing. So first, you must learn to listen. You must hear the winds and wiles of the heavens. I see. I see the night is getting on. What about a rest? I will try to remember. What about the rest? I held my hands over the tarot cards, and we sat quietly until I heard a voice like an oral mirror, as if the words were backwards. Then I felt my lips moving, and when I opened my eyes, we were breathing the words of the cantrip in unison. The memory cuts to the quick, but at least it's still intact. Well done. Moving right along then. It's the time to wake up. Dare say I'm ready for this to be over. What's on the chalkboard? Bits of colored chalk were the most sought after. It's too bad they were so often wasted on crude drawings. Oh, a teddy bear. Teddy bear with a missing eye and matted mohair fur. It had suffered the pitfalls of a rough life in the orphanage, just like the rest of us. This was my bed, right next to Snyder. Here in the footlocker, I kept a few trinkets. Worthless, a lot of them. Peonies. These purple darlings brighten up the dreary place. Picked fresh from the schoolyard by Leo. This must be Snyder. When midnight strikes, I'll be 13 years of age. Father Franco keeps the orphanage funds in the private office. It's my ticket out of here. Sneak past the Snyder. Yeah, critical success. Quiet as a ghost. Now I'd better make to the office where they keep the coin. Lockbox. There's nothing here to get started on my own. Pay dirt. I'll put 100 leagues in between me and Sacred Heart. What was that? Sounded like it came from the hallway. The house is roused. I better make my exit. Someone's coming. My only way out is through that window. There's a voice in the corridor, then a pale shape that emerges from the shadows. Stealing this money. It hurt the Sacred Heart. We fell behind. We skipped over holidays and knitted clothes for the children. This memory has been twisted by the guilt you felt from it. Taking a new shape to prevent this sort of behavior again. That's right. It didn't happen like this. She didn't catch me in the act. I needed this money. How else could I have made it on my own? The same way we made our way without it. But alas, my children, the past, my child, past is past. There's only way to make a mistake. Only one way to make a mistake. And there's only one way to make it right. Oof. To jump out the window? Normally, I'd say drifting into sleep would be a merciful release from reliving such memories. Yet something compels me to push on. To be put through the ringer. To face that greatest of foes, myself. When I was young, I thought that money was the most important thing in life. Now that I'm old, I know that it is. Oscar Wilde. Oh, I know that it is. Lord Silas's airship. Clara Reed. Navigate London as the sharp and savvy courtesan Clara Reed. Before new crimes and the markings of her past catch up to her and tear her life apart. Archetype, huh? So I can go intuition, grace, intellect, or tact. Intuition. Like, what are my skills here? Intuition, grace, intellect, and tact. I've never been much for tact in real life, so why start now? Grace and intuition sounds right. With a little bit of intellect. Yeah, that sounds like me. She learned to hone her sharp intuition from a young age. One can rarely hope to survive or thrive in tenuous situations if they haven't learned to listen to their gut. Just curious what the other tarot cards are. My favorite tarot card is Temperance. And so I might have picked that if it was an option. Alright, here we go. I'm stubborn. Let's do it. Revolutionary feats of engineering and shameless displays of wealth. Common sight in London, yet rarely does it come across. That which combines technological prowess and financial abundance. Enter Silas's airship. Its gilded frame and sheer size literally figuratively casting a deep shadow over the city's slums and wealthy districts. Shafts of sunlight filter through the windows that wrap around each of the airship's rooms, bathing them in their occupants in warm glow. Pipes and polished wooden floors rumble the spinning of the airship's propellers. You feel like you're standing within a slice of the future. I've only got 7 minutes left. And this is probably a really good stopping point. I'm debating whether I should, push on a little further. I mean, you know what? I want to push on a little further, so that's what I'm gonna do. Morning already. Can't stay here forever. I still have much to do before I leave London. Good thing Silas already delivered my payment. Wonder if he was up before me. I wonder if he's still aboard the airship. Grace, take in the atmosphere. A gentle hiss of the steam churn and the churning of metal gears. Silas is in the office, tinkering with some task or another. My head still aches from all that whiskey. Last night was no bed of roses, but it wasn't all bad. At least once I've quit London, I won't have to entertain Silas anymore. Silas brag. Is that you, sweet thing? Up at last, are we? Better get going. Too busy to lay in bed. I will check the chiffonier. Another night wearing this perfume will drive me mad. But Silas always gives bigger tips when I wear his gifts. Another dreadful night. One more day in London. I must choose the lesser evil, I suppose. Yeah, I'll take the perfume. Honey perfume added to inventory. One more night, then I can wash Silas and London off my back for good. Ooh, an elaborate fan. On the sideboard sits an elaborate folding fan with a note beneath it. In the prim and proper cursive, it reads, "A token of my affection." Further down, a trinket of fascinating complexity and refined beauty. A fitting gift for my dear Miss Clara Reed. It's actually quite thoughtful of him. Pretty little thing, isn't it? Quite bulky for an accessory, however. A small but carefully curated selection of wines, and one bottle of good gin. Strangely distinct in a high society way, judging by the label. Silas named this brand of gin after his wife. Perhaps as an attempt to make amends. If I fancied it for myself, now's the time. The Cyclops is dead to the world. Let's see. I've already forgotten what my arcanas are. It's intuition, grace, a little bit of intellect, but no tact. Yeah, that sounds right. Take a furtive look at the rack. Failure. Ahem. What are you up to, you silly minx? You know you can take whatever you want. Well, that's embarrassing. I was just admiring your wife's brand of gin. But thank you, Silas. Me and my manners. Ooh, a phonograph. Look at this phonograph. Mother used to play a song with one of these. What was the melody again? Ski-bop dee-dum doo. Traveling trunks. Luggage set is less organized than mine back at the Royal Suite. Like Tenor and Silas, akin to on the outside, but with a different sort of discontent in their hearts. Wainscoting. Surely crafted by a worker with meager pay. Absolute precision left unnoticed by the wealthy. Can I go out onto the side? I really can't, can I? Terracotta, chipped amethyst. I wonder who stole the original. Similar fabric to the booths in the velvet rose. A fewer stains, evidently. London looks even more hideous from above. Soon I'll be free of it. A. Silas. I fancy a jaunt to St. James for Finn and hotties. Scottish dish of salted and smoked haddock. Afraid not, my dove. I have a busy schedule today, and my employer at the Rose will be quite cross with me if I'm not in soon. This early in the day? Zeus's beard, she runs a tight ship. Respectable shops and taverns won't come unshuttered for ages yet, but the dollies are already breaking bread and scrubbing up for the day. No rest for the wicked, as they say. So it would seem. Sleep well, Dove? With you? Always. Nothing like waking up beside a lady as lovely as you in the buff. You flatter me, your lordship. Flattery will get you everywhere. Oh, that's my alarm. We'll finish up this conversation. I know the look in those eyes. Best to segue into something else, regardless of how well Silas is already paid. I do have places to be. Wherever did you find this fan? It's quite the piece. Aha! Found my gift, eh? Lovely little bauble, isn't it? I know you've a bit of a collection, and I couldn't resist treating my favorite London dolly. Not too presumptuous, I hope. Not at all. I appreciate the gesture, Dove. Well, I'm sure you'll find a way to thank me when next we meet, right, my sweet? When would you like to meet again, Lord Bragg? Now, enough of that. It's just Silas for you, my little minx. Lord Bragg, ha! That novelty wears thin. I pray only that more Cyclopses may follow in my footsteps and earn her majesty's praise. For all his bluster, there are some causes he truly does care about. But, to your question, I'm afraid I'll have to get in touch. Busy these coming days, and plenty of irons in the fire. But mark me, I'll send word to my sweet Miss Clara as soon as I'm free. I look forward to it. I'm not going to ask about the new prosthesis. That seems rude. I'd best be off. It was wonderful as always. Don't be a stranger, my dove. Of course not, my dear. I'll be seeing you sooner rather than later, I think. Till then. Alright. When we come back, we'll go to the wharf. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed Storytime with Old Man Sugarheart. I'm having fun. This game's pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to solving mysteries, even though I didn't solve any as the ox just yet. The minotaur. What have I got? Honey perfume. I've got a gun and a knife. Neat. Search high and low for new fans. That's my task. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Keep an eye on Twitch. I think I'll play more of this tomorrow. So if you were with me today and you want to see how this unfolds, we'll play more on Friday. And then on Saturday, we're going to play Enshrouded probably all night. And that should be fun. And if there's demand for it, I'll play a little Pal World too. Alright. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Oh, if you watch it on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Every little bit helps, and any money I do eventually make, it's just going to go to making the quality of content on this channel better. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.